My name is Yuchen. I sell books at Printed Matter, and I teach bookbinding workshops at Printed Matter St. Mark's. Welcome to another video tutorial of bookmaking. Today I want to show you a really simple stitched book. It's called 3 Hole Pamphlet. 1, 2, 3. It's really easy to make, and it has this lovely humble feeling around it, but there's also great possibilities to make variations. I've seen beautiful elaborate project that's made based on this basic stitching. So today we're gonna go over the basic, and I think maybe in the future I will make another video on the possible variations based on 3 Hole Pamphlet. Okay. Before we start, I want to take a moment to introduce to you the names of a book's body parts, so we have a common language. This is the spine. It's not a real spine like this, but we still call this area spine. And the foredge of a book, head and tail, front cover, back cover, and whatever's in between front and back cover is called text block. It could be a 1 sheet of paper, or it could be hundreds. We call it text block. So if you're shopping paper for your book, there will be paper for text block and paper for cover, and those for text block is generally softer and lighter. Okay. And other tools you will need is bone folder. Again, I don't have my bone folder with me, so today we're gonna use a knife, a not very sharp one. And you will need a clip or two. You will need a pencil. And there are threads and needle that's professionally made for bookmaking. And again, I'm actually at a residency, not my own studio, so I don't have those with me. But I found this in the apartment that I'm staying with. It's a sewing kit. I think maybe we can make it work with this. Maybe you have something similar at home. If not, at least a needle and some thread will do. And the push pin, which I will explain later. Okay, so if you haven't watched the previous video on grain direction, I recommend you to pause here and watch that first, and then come back to this book. But if you have, I'm now testing the grain direction of my paper. So this will be my text block and this will be my cover. And I think the grain direction is this way, so I will fold like this. I'm going to fold the cover and text block all together at once. So I will just make sure that they're lined up on the edge. And I will fold down with my bone folder here. And then I'll use a clip to put them together like this. The next thing you need to decide is where you want those 3 holes to be. They can actually be anywhere on the spine. This is not a lot of weight to hold, but I want to show you a trick to place them evenly on the spine. So all you need is another sheet of paper, like a scrap paper, of the same height of your book. And then we will fold this guide in half and in half again. Okay. And when you open it up, you will see 3 marks. 1, 2, 3. 3 marks evenly placed across this lens. And we will place this guide at the center of my book. Okay. And I'll use a pencil to mark the position of the 3 marks on my book. This. And these will be my 3 holes for stitching. You can always use a ruler and do the math, do the division, but I learned this from, again, my teacher Myanga Hong, and I just find it so handy. I would prefer to measure with a real thing than numbers. And the next step is to pierce through this text block and cover. Usually we will use the awl. If you have awl, you can use it now. But again, I don't have it, and I think a push pin might do. So I'm just going to pierce all 3 holes with a push pin. This. Okay. I have all 3 of them pierced, and my book is ready to be stitched. So I will grab some a needle and thread. I think maybe white is easier, is more visible. I think this thread is rather delicate compared to what we use for bookbinding usually, so I will double it this time. Okay. So I will thread my needle, and I will thread my needle, and I will double the thread, and I'm ready to stitch. Okay, so here you have another decision to make. You can either start your stitching from outside and you will have a knot ends up outside. You can also start inside, in which case your spine will be too minimal, just 2 lines. If you want that look, you will have your knot inside and you will start stitching from inside. I'm going to start from outside this time. You start from the middle one, so just go in here. Okay. And I leave about this much to finish with. And you go to another one, whichever one it is. Okay. And then you skip the middle one, go to the opposite one. Okay. And then you go back to the middle from here. Okay. Now you're back outside, and you just wanna, I don't need my clip anymore. You just wanna pull them a bit tighter so the tension is right. And before you tie a knot, to finish it, you just wanna make sure that this final knot will also involve this long stitch, so it won't be shifting around after the knot. So I'm just going to place it in between of my 2 threads, and I'm going to tie a knot here. Maybe another one, just to be sure. Okay. And you can trim the needle. Okay. That's a 3 Hole Pamphlet book. Because of the thickness of the paper, the center, the text block will be sticking out, which I actually like a lot. But if you don't, you can trim it with a knife after. And you can also put it under some heavy books for overnight or something to make it neat. that's what I want to show you today. I hope you find it useful. And you might be watching this on Instagram or on YouTube or on Print Matter's website. Either way, you should be able to find a donation button somewhere around this window. If it is something you can afford to, please consider make a donation to Print Matter. It will be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Take care.